I just collapsed and I fainted.
She fainted in her own house, not from disease, not from hunger, not from heartbreak. Her husband had married another woman behind her back months ago. Two Muslim women are simply discussing the suffering of Muslim women in Muslim countries under the hands of Muslim men. Not only they are discussing, but they have witnessed it, they experienced it. Fatima, her family converted into Islam. So she brought up with the first generation Muslim convert family. And her father, being a Muslim, had multiple wives. In the mind of Fatima, this is normal. So she grew up knowing that one day she will be second wife to a Muslim man, or she will be sharing her husband with another woman.
My dad has 2 wives, right? I grew up in polygyny, and it was completely normal to me. Like, even my 2 or 3 closest friends, their dads also had multiple wives. It was a normal upbringing. So for me, it wasn't something strange that a man would have more than one wife, right? So I kind of, before I got married, I kind of like expected that. Like I expected like all men want that. So I didn't have any issue with it.
So Fatima converted into Muslim family. She's a student, she's a wife, and also she's a mother. She left her home country, USA, to pursue Islamic education. Yes, as a woman. She left her home country to go to the Muslim countries to learn Islam. She went to Egypt, Saudi Arabia, to UK. Her journey should have been noble, but what she found instead was trauma.
In the beginning, when I first moved to Egypt, I moved to Alexandria. 11 months later, I got pregnant, went back to America. And then after giving birth, I came back to Cairo this time. And I had to go back to give birth outside of Egypt. And then I gave birth to my son. I traveled around back and forth between America, UK. Then I came back to Cairo. I left again to America, from America, back and forth between the UK, Mauritania, and then we traveled to the Saudi, back to the Mauritania, then Spain, then America, then UAE, America. As you can see, so many different travels. And what that does is like, you feel like, man, not depressed, but like disappointed because you weren't able to, complete what you did. And I would say that was the minor struggle.
Her external trials were real, but the deepest wounds came from within her own home.
So for me, it actually started in the first year of my marriage, right? So even before I got married, I was like, I knew that he would probably want that in the future. But it literally started from the first year of our marriage. So eventually it's like, okay, this person, he's gonna do it regardless, no matter what I say. So I kind of just like accepted it. It's like, okay, he's gonna do it, right? So I just accepted it after that. And, he was just constantly in the pursuit of looking for another wife, right? And not paying attention to the actual relationship. So like you're with somebody, but they're constantly looking outside of the relationship. So that's how it was throughout.
One evening, her husband returned from travel. He said,
so he's like, I have to talk to you, right?
She thought.
I was like, okay. And then the way that he was saying it, I was thinking, oh, maybe like he's about to get married again, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's in my mind before he starts talking, like.
But then he said,
I got married again. And I laughed, like I actually laughed because I thought he was joking. Like, because remember in my mind, there's no reason that he would do it behind my back type of thing. So I start laughing, like thinking he's joking. And then he's like, no, for real. I'm like, huh? Like, how did that happen? Like, after all these talks about how it's going to be, blah, blah, blah. Like, why would you just like do it without telling me, like, and it had happened like months before. So then I just feel like, at first I feel numb, and then I just feel like stupid, because like, okay, this person that I've been living with has been married all this time, and I didn't even know. So I kind of felt embarrassed. Well, I did feel really embarrassed. And I remember one of my friends at the time, I called her, and then she was like, and I told her, and then she was like, oh yeah, you didn't know? And I was like, what? Because her husband was friends of my husband, and she knew before even me. So then I felt even more stupid and more embarrassed. And so
She got up next day, like nothing happened, went back to the class where she's learning the language, but she was falling apart.
I remember I was going to class. I would walk to class, bring the kids to the hadana, because obviously in class, the kids stay in the hadana. I would sit in the class. I would literally be just like staring at the wall, staring at the board, and I couldn't see what the teacher was writing. I would be staring at the teacher's mouth, and I couldn't hear what she was saying. And I just felt like, someone just stabs you in your heart type of thing. And my stomach was like really queasy. So that day I walked back home, and I couldn't even barely walk. I was kind of weak, like my whole body was weak. I hadn't eaten. And then I made it to my room, and then it was just blackness, darkness. I just collapsed and I fainted. And at the time, I didn't even know I fainted. I thought, I just fell asleep. But when I spoke about it later to my therapist is when I actually realized that, no, I actually fainted. That was the first time I fainted in my life.
It felt like someone stabbed her in the heart. And that someone is the husband whom she signed up to share life with. She confronted him. What was his excuse?
And because the thing was, I didn't want to tell you until after your exams.
Then why now? Her husband didn't just cheat. She knew one day it might happen to her. That husband will get another wife.
It's a normal upbringing. So for me, it wasn't something strange that a man would have more than one wife, right? So I kind of, before I got married, I kind of like expected that. Like I expected like all men want that. So I didn't have any issue with it.
He followed the examples that approved in Islamic text as well as promoted by Muslim missionaries. He married again, he married again, he married again, he married again, he married again. By the time she left, he was on wife number 5.
We lasted 6 years after that, eventually, because of this very same issues, marry, divorce. It was, by the time that I left, he was married. He was on his 5th wife, basically. But it wasn't like all at once. Like it was married, divorce, married, divorce, married, divorce. Very fast marriages. And it wasn't, as I told you, the fact that you're getting married, but it's the whole
approach to it.
The whole approach to it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not serious. You're basically just playing with women. That's what this is. So eventually, I was divorced. I had to go back to my family's house.
She tried to survive. She studied, passed, and graduated. In fact, she says
that I was the first American woman to graduate from the institute.
But the damage has already been done. And sad thing is, like heart-crushing thing is, this woman is not alone.
A rather close friend of mine who essentially was beaten with a hammer at 8 months pregnant by her then husband while on hijrah.
La ilaha illallah.
And She was beaten so severely that her finger almost came off, and they ended up separating before her giving birth. And she gave birth at home alone in Cairo. She's been through so much, so much, but she's been really strong. You know, the French sisters, mashallah al-Mabarik, they really, held strong to Hijra. I feel like it's almost a daily occurrence where you hear a story of a sister who is on Hijra, who's going through something extremely difficult. Just the other day, I have a friend, I know her, but not that well. And she's a single mother of a boy. She lives alone here. She's a revert as well, who is having a very difficult financial time. And she's literally living in an apartment with like just the basic necessities, like very basic, in an area that if people would see it, like where she came from and where she's at, they would just be shocked. Like most people from Europe would never even step their foot there, you know? But she's trying to stay strong for the sake of Hijra and, to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
It's literally every single day I'm hearing a different story about a sister. She's either in an abusive situation or she's by herself out in the streets, doesn't have any money. 3 different sisters that had to come to my house because they didn't have anywhere else to go. And just recently is a sister who was actually killed. She was murdered by her own husband in the broad daylight.
Suffering of Muslim woman in Muslim countries in the hands of Muslim man is not just one-off. It is very, very common. Actually, it doesn't even matter if you are in a Muslim country or if you are not in Muslim country. It is just normal, part of daily life. Yeah, it is part of the daily life. Your husband hammers you on head. It is part of the daily life. Your husband murders you in daylight. And then this all reminds me, mother of the believers, Aisha, where she says, I have not seen any woman suffering as much as the believing woman. Aisha, the mother of the believers, Muhammad's wife, recognized that the suffering of Muslim woman is real. And now she's correct. The suffering of Muslim woman, not only known to her from the beginning, but it is still on. As I said, this is not just like one-off event. This is Islam. Surah 4 allows multiple wives. 2, 3, 4. Surah 33 allowed 6 slaves. And then you've got muta, misyar, so-called marriages, temporary sex marriages. Depend on which school you follow. Abuse isn't always the bruises, of course. Sometimes it is the silence, it is the neglect. The pursuit of another woman while you sit at home and then take care of his kids. While you sit at home and then try to gain the knowledge of Islam.
He was just constantly in the pursuit of looking for another wife, right? And not paying attention to the actual relationship. So like you're with somebody, but they're constantly looking outside of the relationship. So that's how it was throughout.
Even though you are trying to be good wife, you are trying to do your best to make sure your husband is pleased with you. Your husband is still looking out. Why? Thanks to the teachings of Islam, thanks to the promotion is put out from Muslim missionaries. So what happened? Well, she graduated. She got the highest score in her class. But the marriage? Broken on and off. Divorce, return, divorce again. And then it goes on. By the end, she walked away.
And it wasn't even just the fact that you got married again, but it was the whole situation, like the whole situation of how that marriage occurred was just completely ridiculous. Like, I won't go into details of what that is, but it happened in a way that should have never happened.
But here's something everyone needs to understand. There is one husband who never lies, who never cheats, who never abandons, and his name is Jesus Christ. In Islam, while God is master, In Christianity, God is Father. While Muhammad laid with multiple wives and slaves, Jesus Christ laid his life down for his bride. The gospel isn't about collecting women, it's about rescuing them, restoring them, and raising them up. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened. I will give you rest, says Lord Jesus Christ. And to be very clear, make sure everyone understand it. These were not my words. I just pointed out to you what Muslim women experienced, what they have witnessed. Muslim women experienced, Muslim women witnessed. Those were not attacks from Islamophobes at all. Those are real Muslim women speaking, suffering, and trying to survive. Aisha, mother of the believers, was right, and now so many others are proving her right again and again. But where Islam gives power to man, Jesus Christ, King of Kings, eternal Son of the Father, offers grace. He doesn't hide behind the contracts. He hangs on that cross. He doesn't create victims. He creates daughters. The truth will set you free. Will you listen?